What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Blitz Angle tonight. I am here with Dan Loya. My name is Blitz Link, and Dan, it's sad. I mean, we are almost halfway through the NFL season right now, and week 8 was interesting. Let's just say that. I mean, there were games that were blown, there were games that were blowouts, and I think that was a majority story. And then there were absolute surprises from this week. Dan, what is your biggest takeaway from this week's action?
Man, I don't know. I guess that 10 o'clock slate was pretty wild. Uh,
10 o'clock. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot we were
yeah,
talking.
sorry, I'm on the West Coast. Sorry, so 12 o'clock slate for you, for the Midwest people out there. But yeah, I thought the 12 o'clock slate was cool. The Jets got their first win. I think that's a big surprise. So shout out to the Jets. They break that 0-7 streak. But I think my main thing today was Atlanta laid an egg, and I think that it was just an embarrassing loss at home. And I was watching it over, during the Sunday night game as well. Just yeah, man, it was just they look bad today, man, against that Miami Dolphins team that, came in reeling. They only have one win themselves, and, I don't know, I just think it was an embarrassing loss for them at home.
Yeah, I guess we can start with that one right there. I mean, that was by far the biggest surprise of the week. And the biggest surprise for me, I'm looking at the numbers right now. Bijan Robinson, 9 carries for
Yeah.
25 yards. Tyler Algier, 4 carries for 4 yards against the worst rush defense in the NFL entering the game. Dan, this was a juicy opportunity, despite even Kirk Cousins being the quarterback this week for Atlanta to be able to run the ball effectively, and Miami just wasn't having it. And they made a statement, and it wasn't just on the defensive side of the ball, it was their offense. Two or three for 4 touchdowns. And I think one of the things that Mike McDaniel's scheme does best is they negate very good pass rush as well. They're able to get the ball out of Tua's hands quick. And if their guys can make plays in space like they did today, Miami is going to set themselves up for success. And they basically were like, listen, we're going for it for 4 downs. We're going to make sure we get touchdowns instead of field goals today. And they were able to maintain that throughout the game. The Falcons, after halftime, were frustrated. Their defense played even worse. Their offense never got stuff going. And I mean, this is kind of the story of the Atlanta Falcons, it feels like, over the past few years, is that their offense just doesn't elevate to a consistent level. And I think it's time, Zach Robinson, the offensive coordinator, man, like it's time we start asking questions whether or not the right guy is at the helm for Atlanta right now. And I mean, they have the talent. I know London was out today.
Yeah.
You have Bijan in the backfield. Algier is probably a top 30 back in the NFL. You put him in other places, he could be a starter, right? Mooney is a very credible wide receiver. Kyle Pitts is starting to revive his career. Like the weapons are there. They have a solid offensive line as well at times. I mean, they've been a little inconsistent, but the talent is there. Zach Robinson feels like it's holding us back, and the defense can't hold its own every single game. And I think last week the 49ers showed some cracks in this defense, and Miami completely exploited it this week. Dan, here's the biggest question with Atlanta is, are they a playoff team this year?
I don't think so. I mean, after today, no, because I just want to add on to it. Their offense looked terrible today. Like I don't care who's quarterback, they lost the line of scrimmage battle today. Miami whooped them up front, and it's just surprising because I don't think they've done that all year. So it was just Kirk Cousins missed a lot of throws. I put that in my notes, and he also looked rusty too. People were open. He just missed a lot of receivers on third down, and it's just
Yep.
unacceptable for a guy like him. He's getting paid a lot of money. He's the backup. He should be ready. It's just, yeah, I feel bad for Falcons fans, man. That's just you can't have that. That's an embarrassing loss, and that's a loss that might cost Raheem Morris his job. So we'll see what happens. But you can't. I mean, it was in my notes here. I got it was 17-3 at halftime, so the game was still in reach. Uh, they couldn't get anything going running the ball with Bijan. They finally got some action because of a pass interference, which was a
Yeah.
pretty soft call in my opinion. I don't know if you caught that. Rasul Douglas got called, totally flipped the field. 2 plays later, they got some momentum going, but 2 plays later, Bijan fumbled. So he put the ball on the ground again. Miami got the ball. That led to a 10-play, 84-yard TD drive. The game 24-3 at that point, and now it's pretty much over. So it's
Yep.
just embarrassing for Atlanta.
Yeah, definitely. They're out of my playoff picture right now. Like the NFC is starting to take shape, and I would be
Yeah,
surprised if any of the teams in the field right now miss it. I think that Atlanta's going to have a hard time working their way in with their offense inconsistencies. I know they play in the South; it's a weaker division, but I mean they have a lot of problems in general. They're going to
yeah,
need to take down a team like the Patriots and find a way to clip a team that they shouldn't beat. And you know, It's just the big like the inconsistent. They feel like a 7-10 team written
Yeah,
all over them.
it's too inconsistent. I'm right with you, man.
Too inconsistent for my liking. So I had the Falcons out of the playoffs. This loss definitely shoots them down, and they're going to be a big dropper in the power rankings as well. And it sucks because I had them as my top defensive streamer of the week, and they lay this egg, which is
Yeah,
really unfortunate. That's just the NFL for you. Let's talk about the Bears and the Ravens game. Of massive implications for both teams. Obviously, the Ravens were in a must-win situation. No Lamar Jackson this week, but he will return on Thursday Night Football against that Dolphins team. And then the Bears, right? This was an opportunity for them to get their fifth win, start to work towards that playoff picture, and had it on a silver platter. And Dan, let's just say Caleb Williams had a hard time throwing to his open receivers or finding any sort of rhythm in this one once again. What were your thoughts on Williams' performance and the Bears' loss to a Lamar Jackson not led Ravens team?
yeah, it's a tough loss for Chicago. I think we hit it right on the head, and you brought up a good point in our preview show earlier this week. Is that eventually the Bears not being able to finish drives with touchdowns caught up with them. To
Yeah.
begin the game, they kicked 2 field goals. They could have been up 14-0. Instead, it's 6-0. You keep Baltimore in the game, and you got to put them away. I don't care who's quarterback. They still got some weapons. They got some people on defense as well, and then Derrick Henry too. Shout out to Derrick Henry. He had a good game. I thought it was pretty cool that he broke yeah, Walter Payton's touchdown record for his career against the Bears. So I thought that was pretty neat as well. So shout out to Derrick Henry. But yeah, I think Caleb's going to be all right. I think people are kind of overreacting in Chicago. Uh, it's nothing typical for them, but they won 4 in a row. It's okay. I mean, you're not gonna win every game. It's tough to lose against that team, but, Baltimore got some people back, and they were desperate. You could tell they were playing with a different edge today. You can tell they were 1 and 5. They were desperate for a win, and, that's all it takes, man. I thought the Baltimore defense definitely stepped up. They shut down the Bears' running game. I mean, as a team, DeAndre Swift only had 45 yards on 11 carries. As a team, the Bears ran for 96 yards, but the Bears couldn't finish drives, and I think that's my biggest takeaway today.
Yeah. Listen, I think this game is a very good outlook of how these teams are going to look the rest of the year. On the Bears side of things, Caleb Williams over his last 4 games, Dan, has 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, right? He's only averaging
Yep,
slightly over 230 yards a game, and his completion percentage is hovering around 63%. That's not good enough. And those are in games that they've been winning, right? In spite of Caleb Williams struggling. You have games mixed in there with the Raiders, the Saints are mixed in there as well, right? This Ravens defense, who's poorly ranked but played really well today, and I'll
they
talk
play
about them
well.
in a second. They're much better right now because they're getting healthier. But like Caleb Williams not playing well, and you kind of can see like Ben Johnson's impact on this offense. In the game scripted drives that Caleb Williams has, the ball's out of his hands in under 2.5 seconds. The offense is consistently moving down the field, and it's very efficient and effective. Outside of the game script, Caleb Williams does not read the defense well. He doesn't get the ball out of his hands, and he's incredibly inaccurate. And if he's not in a rhythm, Dan, he's missing throws and he's missing reads. And it's the same thing we saw last year with Caleb. And the only difference
Yep,
is now he has a really good game script, so they start the game strong, but he just doesn't finish the game because he's not there yet mentally as a quarterback. And you look around Caleb Williams' draft class, and it's always tough to compare him to other guys. But Drake May, what he's done with a coaching change, Josh McDaniels has completely elevated him into a more efficient and effective passer. Jaden Daniels last year took a Commanders team that was the second worst team in the NFL to the NFC Championship game, and now Caleb Williams is sitting here, right? And he has Romo Dunze, he has DJ Moore, he has Ben Johnson. He has Colston Love on a top 10 pick. He has an improved offensive line who has
the
been much
weapons.
better
Yeah,
this season, right? The talent is all there. The coaching staff is in place. Now it is just Caleb Williams not taking the steps that he needed to take. And that is the biggest thing holding this team back. And while I think Caleb should, get a lot of scrutiny for how he's performed as of late, they're not going to give up on him. He's going to play out the entire
I
season.
know
He's going to have all of
for
next
sure.
year as well. But the biggest thing that will hold the Bears back throughout the next 2 seasons is Caleb Williams, right? As this team's going to go as far as Caleb Williams goes, and the defense is what it is. They allow a ton of yards. They're not super talented. They're injured in the secondary right now. And if they don't have
Yeah,
takeaways, they're a bad defense. So you have that. It's just Caleb Williams has to step up. They're not a playoff team this year. It's all about Caleb Williams finding consistency and getting in a groove. And I think they'll find that if Ben Johnson just basically puts training wheels in the guy and says, you have to do this, you have to, you know, run bootlegs. You don't be Caleb Williams. Don't, try to roll out and make a play, throwing it on the run. How many times this year, Dan, have you seen Caleb Williams roll out to his right and then whip a ball out of bounds at 100 miles an hour and just do nothing? It happens 5 times a game, and it's the least effective play in
Huh.
football right now. Like, it's just so stupid. So that is my Caleb Williams rant right now. But on the Ravens side of things, dude, like, this was a huge win for them, and they played
Yeah.
very well. They have a favorable schedule coming up. We know Pittsburgh struggled. We'll talk about them probably next, but Baltimore's defense has been significantly better. They just had to get a little bit healthy, right? The same thing happened last year with this unit is once the season started rolling on, they were much better. And while I don't think they're going to reach the levels they have in the past, this is still a top 15 defense in the NFL with what they can do on the ground game, and their secondary when healthy is very, very good. So the Ravens, Lamar's back next week. I think they're winning the division. Dan, let's talk about Steelers and segue into that. Steelers
Yes.
are just not super talented on the offensive side of the ball, and it really showed tonight in the second half of this game. While the Packers were able to take it to an older defense that is not really getting much pressure nowadays anymore. What are your thoughts on the Steelers' performance tonight against the Packers?
Well, I thought they played really well in the first half.
Good.
I got it was 16-7, and we're thinking. I mean, I'm thinking like, wow, this is gonna be a gritty game. The defense is gonna make a big play to win it, and the Packers. I don't know what happened in that locker room, but Matt Lafleur talked to his guys. They adjusted and they came out firing. Uh, the Packers had the ball 5 times in the second half, and I'll read it to you. It went touchdown, 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 field goal, field goal. That's 5 for 5. 5 scores, and, they didn't look back. They won the game 35-19, so I think it's more of a shout out to the Packers because, the game plan for Love getting the ball out quick. It seemed like he was holding the ball way too long, in the first half, and you can tell they punted twice, and, he was getting pressure on him, but right in the second half, it was more getting him a rhythm, get him a quick slants, screens. Tucker Kraft played extremely well. He was awesome tonight. But,
Yeah.
I think just the Packers had a real good game plan, but that's 2 games in a row that the Steelers defense has looked pretty bad against, the pass.
I
But
mean,
like you
they've been
said, they're
bad the
they're
entire
older.
year in terms of yards allowed.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
but the Bears and the Steelers defense are almost identical. The Steelers just have a slightly better pass rush than the Bears.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kinda crazy to think about, like, those are 2 teams, iconic teams that believe in their defense, and right now,
Their
both
defense
teams
is
kinda
stink.
stink. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're terrible, and, yeah, I think the Steelers, yeah, that I don't know what they need on defense, but something's not working right now. They're getting shredded. Their offense, they're definitely in the market for a receiver because you saw tonight. I thought the
Yeah.
Packers corners played pretty well, and they were really sticky tonight in coverage again. But like towards the end of the game, Roman Wilson had that touchdown. He's got to bring it in. Uh, and then if like the Steelers aren't built to like come back 5 minutes in the game down
No, they're
16.
still running 3 tight ends out there,
Yeah, I
and
know. The Arthur
like,
Smith
they
offense, you know?
desperately need another wide receiver. Like, Jacoby
Yeah,
Myers is a name I look at. Brandon Cooks even would probably help this team. Like, the Steelers feel
they
like
need
an
somebody
easy
else.
lock for a team targeting wide receiver. I know Brian Thomas Jr. has been thrown around. I see no chance Brian Thomas Jr. is on the move. If the Jaguars traded Brian Thomas, that would be
That'd be wild, man. That'd
insane.
be
Like,
wild.
actually insane. All right, but anyways, Packers Steelers. I thought the Steelers, played very well in the first half defensively. They were able to shut
Yeah,
down, and they did shut down Josh Jacobs the entire game. Their pass defense looked really good in the first half.
look
But
good.
then Jordan Love got in a groove, man. He was finding
Yeah,
ways to get guys open on different types of plays. And shout out to Matt LaFleur, really good game plan in the second half. And they did not flinch, right? The addition of Christian Watson, and
yeah,
this was the one thing I
yeah.
agreed with. The Christian Watson addition completely changes what this team can do because now they add a deep threat with a really good intermediate receiver in Romeo Dobbs. His route running has been incredibly impressive over the course of this year. Tucker Kraft is an absolute monster with the ball in his hands as well, and they have different guys that they can sprinkle in there. They have different versatile weapons that make this game, very hard to stop. While they don't have a true number one, they have many different options now, and Christian Watson obviously helps that. So that was a big time get for them. But in the second half, the biggest difference was the pass rush, just got to Aaron Rodgers. He was looking down at the pass rush. They were not playing ahead of the sticks like they were in the first half. And, the amount of field goals they had to kick in the first half hurt them. They could have had that game 28-7, 28-10, right around that score heading into half. They just had to settle for field goals because they ran a play where it was -4 yards, or they got sacked, or they had a penalty. The Steelers had a ton of opportunities, and I thought they could have ran the ball even more than they did tonight. But the biggest thing they're lacking is a true playmaker outside of DK Metcalf on this offense. And it's what Pittsburgh's been lacking for quite some time since basically the Antonio Brown days, is they just don't have a game-changing weapon on the offense that a defense has to respect. And I think Aaron Rodgers is a lot better than people give him credit for. I think he actually has been, more impressive than he was, especially last year. And, he's playing at a decent level. They need to find a way to get him another weapon, or else, Pittsburgh coming up. Let me pull up the schedule here. It is a gauntlet. They're 4-3 now. They're still at the top of their division. They have Colts next week, Chargers after that, Bengals, who they lost to, the Bears, who are still slightly above 500, the Bills, and then the Ravens, with games still against the Lions mixed after that. Like, they have a gauntlet coming up here.
Yeah, there it is.
And,
It's
it's
tough.
going to be tough for Pittsburgh to, win these games. And you look at that Ravens game, and if the Ravens win their next, let's see, 5 games, the Ravens win their next 5 games, they're sitting at 7-5, and Pittsburgh's 4-3 right now. That game realistically could be for the division there. And then they have another one towards week 18 that we'll be looking at as well. So that'll be a massive game. Dan, Steelers and Ravens right now. If you had to tell me one team to pick the division, I already am going with the Ravens. Who are you going with?
Man, it's tough. I don't know, man. I don't know if I really trust the Ravens, to be honest.
How do you
I
not
I
trust
think
the Ravens, though?
because I think they just dug themselves a hole, man. And I know, I mean, they're getting lucky because the Bengals lost today. The Steelers they're on a 2-game losing streak, so they need some luck. It's not gonna. I mean, they
Yeah,
can
yeah. I
probably
mean,
win
you
out,
do
but
need luck.
they need
Yeah.
these teams to lose. Yeah, I think the Steelers are gonna get another weapon, and then with Aaron, I mean, they're gonna go all in right now. They're gonna push all their chips in. And I think I trust them a little bit more than the Ravens. I mean, it's not by a lot. Like, I mean, it's tough, but right now I'll trust Pittsburgh. You got Aaron, and they're gonna get him a weapon. And it's gonna be a lot of shootouts. It's gonna be a fun division, and it will come down to the wire.
Yeah, and I kind of look at it in terms of this perspective, is I think the Ravens are a significantly more talented team than the Steelers, and the Steelers have a 2-game cushion on them right now. So I look at that and I'm like, you know what? There's still plenty of games left. Each of them have 10 games left in the year. I think the Ravens can make up 2 games over the next 10, especially considering their schedules. That I think Baltimore, even when Lamar was healthy, they're averaging 33 points per game. Like, that's legit. And their
Yeah,
defense is playing better. Pittsburgh can't compete with that type of an offense, especially with the state of their current defense. They've been able to limit Lamar in the past, but I'm not sure this defense is athletic enough to actually match up with Lamar this year. That is my biggest concern, is like this defense has a bunch of older guys that aren't necessarily at their peak athleticism anymore. And against faster teams, they've been getting exposed a little bit. Even like Tucker Craft today was able to maneuver a ton and
yeah, he's
have a lot
awesome.
of yards after the catch just because his defense is not older. So if I had to go with one, I am going to ride with the Ravens. Let's get into some other games here. And let's talk about the top 3 teams in the AFC. The Indianapolis Colts took care of the Titans 38-14. The New England Patriots beat the Browns 32-13. And then the Broncos won 44-24 against the Cowboys. Dan, talk to me about these 3 teams and what impressed you the most from each of them here in week 8.
Yeah, well, if I had to rank them, I would go Colts, Broncos, Pats. That's what I'm thinking of right now. The Colts game, it was close. It was close early. The Titans were playing them really tough. It was a divisional game, and you can tell they were getting after it. I think the turning point in that game was Cam Ward wanted to go for it on fourth down, and I think they were down 17-10 or 17-7, and that they had the ball at like the 45, and Cam Ward was yelling at his coach. You probably saw the clip online. He wanted Mike McCoy to go for it. They decide to punt, and then a few plays later, Jonathan Taylor takes one to the house. That was a wrap for that game. The Colts offense was just too high powered, and to beat them, you gotta keep scoring, man. You can't be punting against that team. So the Colts look awesome today. The Broncos, shout out to the Broncos. We talked about it this week. Sean Payton's got Eberflus's number.
Yep.
What is it? 11 touchdowns, 1 interceptions, over 777 passing yards. So the Bo Nix looked awesome today. The whole entire offense, you could tell it was clicking. That defense was too much for the Cowboys, and it's a tough place to play too. You're at altitude. The crowd was really loud today, so it's tough for the Cowboys when you can't stop anybody. I know their offense is pretty good, but that's just too much to overcome today. So Broncos continue their winning streak against Dallas, and then New England, it was close. It was close too, and then it was another blowout.
Yeah,
They could not block Miles Garrett, man. They could not, dude. 5 sacks, franchise record, the
yeah.
most sacks ever the Patriots ever gave up to a player in franchise history. So, yeah, Drake May was running a lot today, but I think just my takeaway with New England is I wish they would get, Henderson more involved. I think it would
They're
just
never
open up
going
their
to. It's the
offense, man.
stupidest thing in the
But
world.
it's
He's in jail
dude,
right now, it feels like.
I don't know why. I don't we gotta talk to Brady. I must have missed something, but,
No,
whenever
the
they gave
Patriots
he
fans
let
are
yeah.
asking the same questions on that one. There is no answers as to why Travion Henderson is not playing
I
more.
don't get it. He led the team in rushing on 10 carries,
Yeah, he
7.5 a
only played
carry.
14 snaps, Dan, and he had 10 carries for 75
Really?
yards. Yeah,
It's
uh,
ridiculous, dude. I don't know. You could tell there's a different gear with him, man. Just give him the ball. Come on, Josh.
yep.
Come
Give
on,
him the
man.
ball and let him cook. Yeah. So
Yeah,
with these teams, like I walked away probably most impressed with the Broncos in this one.
yeah,
Denver having a day like they did. They Denver didn't let up on the gas pedal in this one. Let's just say that. They kept beating down on the Cowboys, who basically, I mean, the nicest way to put it is their defense is like running routes on air when playing offense right now. There's zero resistance on the defensive side of the ball from the Cowboys this season, and their offense
yeah,
put up 24 points. And like I said, if they were the Cowboys were going to win the game, and that's why I picked them. Their offense was going to have a better day than they did. And that just didn't happen. Bo Nix played
mhm,
really well. I mean, the first drive, it's part of the Bo Nix experience. Throws behind a receiver,
yeah.
interception. Like he's still a little inconsistent, but this is a step in the right direction for him. Pat Sertan's injury is one to monitor for sure. They've had an easy schedule, but I think, like I said, out of these teams right now, I hate to say it, and I wasn't on this train, Dan, but compared to the Colts and Patriots, I think the Broncos actually might be the best team of the three right now in terms of what they can do long term just because of their defense. I think their defense is going to be able to compete against these higher level teams, and I wasn't completely sold on that. But they did a great job matching up with the Cowboys in this one. I'm just, the biggest hesitation for me is Bo Nix in that offense, but they showed out great today. I think that the
Yeah,
Broncos are going to be a tough out in the playoffs for sure for a lot of teams. Right, the Colts did what they always do. It's Jonathan Taylor, take the ball,
yeah,
score touchdowns, and beat up on a bad team. That's kind of what it's felt like for the Colts so far. They have wins over the Titans twice now. They got wins over your Cardinals right now who've struggled this year, the
mm,
Raiders who have struggled this year, the Dolphins who have struggled this year, right? They have wins over, the Chargers and Broncos, which are good wins. But they're going to be tested here over the next few weeks, and we're going to kind of see what this Colts team is going to be about. I think that the Colts are an interesting one for me. I do see some regression coming. I do see, you know, my biggest hesitation with the Colts is that when Daniel Jones is pressured, the different type of quarterback that we get. He has faced a lot of defenses that haven't pressured him as much, and the offensive line's been really good, but can that hold up against good teams? They look good today. They're still the number one team in the NFL entering next week,
yeah.
but we will see if they can hold up. And then the Patriots, like the biggest thing with New England is, they have probably played the easiest schedule in the NFL right now, which is
Yeah, definitely.
fair to
Yeah,
say. This was a better test for them because the Browns defense has some talent on it, and obviously,
yeah.
yeah, like
They're
they have
tough,
some
man.
talent.
They're
And
tough.
Drake May still had a very good game. He threw 3 touchdowns in this one, 75% completion percentage. But you saw a little bit of where this team, can stall out. The sacks, right? Miles Garrett had a nice day.
Yeah,
Drake May gets fooled in coverage. Carson Schwarzenegger has a nice little pick. Our guy we talked about,
yeah,
and
yeah. I like
they
it.
have no ground game whatsoever. Like Travion Henderson had a lot of yards, and it was like a blowout game at that point. So with the Patriots, they're still going to keep putting up numbers. Everybody's going to think, man, New England is going to be a legit playoff team this year. I'm not really buying it this season. I think that there'll be a team we look at that has an inflated record with who they played.
Yeah, I
They're
think
Drake
that's
May.
yeah,
The biggest thing with them, like Drake May, looks really good this year. That's the thing I think Patriots fans wanted to see in the record improvement. They're going to get that. I just don't feel like they're going to be a legit contender this year. It feels like kind of a inflated win and loss record right now. Or what are your thoughts on all that I just kind of spewed right there?
Yeah, well, I think if you wanna like, it's kind of tough to say this because I think all these teams are really good. Uh, but like I think the Colts, like I know they played an easier schedule, but they did play the Broncos. What, week 2 or
Yeah, and
week
they
3?
did beat the
They came.
Broncos.
Yeah, it was close though because it came down to a penalty and a field goal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, either but both teams are really good, the Colts and the Broncos. The Pats have had a really easy schedule, but they're winning, man, so you gotta give credit to them. Drake May's in his 2nd year. It's a new coach. It's Vrabel coming in there, building a culture. So, I mean, all these teams are winning. So, as long as you keep winning, you're gonna give your chance a shot. Give yourself a chance at the playoffs, you know? You just gotta get in the dance because you never know what's gonna happen, and we're in it's already week 8 now, so we're gonna be heading into week 9 next week. So you just never know. But yeah, with New England, as long as like they don't beat themselves, like I just kind of think of like I always remember like the Steelers game. There's just too many turnovers by Drake May. He got like strip sacked, threw that bad pick before halftime. Just as long as he plays clean and just no turnovers, they're gonna be in a lot of games. And that secondary too. Just Christian Gonzalez is in and out of the injury report with a hamstring. They need him healthy. He's a big key component of that defense. So, they're young, man, but, as long as they're winning, they're gonna be tough. All these teams are gonna be tough.
Yeah, let's kind of talk about the Packers who we kind of glossed
Yeah, let's
over a
talk
little
about 'em.
bit. And like what are your thoughts on them obviously at the top of the NFC? The Bucks got a big win over the Saints today, right?
Yeah, the
And you know, the
defense.
49ers lost today. The Eagles did win against the Giants. Like what are your thoughts right now at the top of the NFC? And you can kind of talk about any of those teams I mentioned as well. Who is the best team right now in the NFC?
I should pull up my power rankings. I forget who I put here. It's been a long day here. I think well, let's start with the Packers. I thought they looked awesome in that second half, and then once they get a lead, that's what they wanna do. They wanna unleash their pass rush. They wanna unleash, Mr. Parsons from, Dallas, and he was I mean, I don't care how many people you put on him, he's hard to block.
Yeah.
I guess my second team, my power rankings is the Lions, but they're on a bye this week, so we can't forget about them. I think they're the should be the favorites for the NFC North. But like besides them, we got Seattle, who was on a bye. So don't forget about these teams on a bye. And then I got Green Bay after them. So I would go Green Bay, Philly, and then who was the other team that you wanted to talk about? Is that it?
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's in
Oh,
there.
Tampa, Green Bay. I got Green Bay, Philly, and Tampa in that order. I think I like that order because that just Tampa man got too many injuries, but their defense played awesome today.
They did play
They
on.
were
I mean, they got Spencer
yeah
Rattler benched.
yeah I know poor guy.
Well,
Poor
I
guy,
mean,
man. I mean, he's played great all year. I mean, he was solid, and then he got benched, and
he
it
was
didn't help. I
solid.
don't
The
care.
turn, I think he had like 6 turnovers in 6 quarters. So, like, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
at that point, the writing's on the wall. Let's give Tyler
yeah. They're
Shuck a
just like, let's
chance.
see what he's got. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think.
mean, the
Well,
Saint,
Green Bay though. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, I was just gonna say the Saints are definitely gonna be sellers at the deadline, and you know they need to kind
Mhm.
of move off this veteran roster and get some youth in there. But what were you gonna say about the Packers?
No, I thought just like you said, that's a good point because I was going to talk about that with the return of Christian Watson. It's really going to open up their offense. He's going to be able to stretch the field. It's going to open everything up. I also thought Emmanuel Wilson, the running back, the backup running back for Josh Jacobs. I thought he had a really good game too. It seemed like he had some extra juice. So I know Jacobs has been dealing with some like lower body injury, so you could tell like he wasn't right. But Emmanuel Wilson definitely like provided a spark tonight. You could tell he definitely helped them move the ball. So that's I mean the Packers got weapons, and then Jordan Love. I don't know if that's his best game as a pro, but he was
He
in
was
that second
dominant
half.
today. Yeah,
He was awesome, man. He looked great, and yeah, once Green Bay gets the lead, that's what they want to do. They want you put you down 2 possessions, and then they just get after you with 4. That's it.
yeah, yeah. And listen, we're gonna get Packers and Eagles soon here in Week 10, and you know Philly.
Week 10, huh?
Philly is such a hard team to like just evaluate right now. Like
Mhm.
Jalen Hurts, you look at the box score, 180 yards, 70%, 75% completion
Let's talk
percentage,
about it.
four
Yeah.
touchdowns. I have never seen a quarterback do as little as Jalen Hurts and get as much praise as Jalen Hurts. It is crazy. It really is. Like the plays that Jalen Hurts makes, a lot of NFL quarterbacks makes them, but what I credit Jalen Hurts the most for is that he never is too high or too low, and the moment's never too big. He never changes regardless of what it is. His floor is incredibly high. You know what you're going to get from Jalen Hurts, whether it is a 2-minute drill to win a game or whether it is to start a game. That's what holds a lot of quarterbacks back, and that might what be like kind of what holds Caleb Williams back. Is Caleb Williams is incredibly more talented than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts has such a high floor and knows how to manage an offense, and he's done a great job of that in Philadelphia. The thing is like, does he elevate an offense? No.
I don't know.
And that's kind of been what's stalling out this Eagles team is that a lot of sacks taken this year, a lot of
Yeah,
plays and offensive drives where they're just not consistently moving the ball. Right today, they had over 200 something rushing yards, Dan, and it still
yeah.
felt like at
Finally,
times their passing game was what stalled this offense out. And this year, we haven't seen that running game, but it was great to see that come back. And Saquon he has a groin injury. It sounds like he'll be okay, but I mean, this team needs Saquon Barkley to get going if they're going to want to win in the playoffs. Jalen Hurts is not going to do enough for them. With the Packers, Jordan Love's almost like a different version of Jalen Hurts to where his talent is much better than Hurts, but he relies a lot on what LaFleur can scheme up for him to get open because he's so inconsistent at times. And the one thing I look at in the NFC is Detroit's just incredibly talented. Jared Goff is always playing at a majority of the time high level. Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporte. They have so many talented pieces. So I have them,
yeah,
I think, as my favorite to come out of the NFC. I think with Tampa, I'm kind of fading them at this point. I think that they're a nice team. They play in a weaker division. They're competitive, they're fun, but they're not super talented right now with their injuries at receiver. Bucky Irving needs to get back right now, and their defense just I know they were good today, but they've struggled at times this year. So if I were to rank my NFC teams, I would go
yeah.
Lions and a team we haven't mentioned yet. I think the Rams are actually a better team than the Eagles, even though they lost to them this year. Then the Eagles, Packers, and then Bucks. And then I'd probably go like 49ers and Seahawks right behind those teams
Okay.
in my NFC mixture. I kind of think how that's going to play out, but I do want to segue this into a little bit of Houston Texans talk here, Dan. This was a big
Mhm.
win for them, 26-15, and their defense this year. They finally have allowed over 100 points now through week 8. Like CJ Stroud, when he has a little bit of time, he looked pretty good today with 3 wide receivers who are incredibly young. What were your thoughts on Stroud's nice game and the Texans' big win to stay in the playoff hunt?
Yeah, it's a huge one for them. They're fighting for their season as well. It's another team just like Baltimore. They're playing desperate. They needed a win. It's a short week too, so shout out to them. You know, they played late, real late last Monday on the road in Seattle. So for them to have a game like this is really impressive. And shout out to CJ Stroud as well, man. 318 yards. I mean, that's awesome because I know he's getting like just people since the offense is clicking. You know, just a lot of people keep blaming him, and you know, it's not him. Like CJ Stroud's so talented, and you know, there's a lot of teams in the NFL that wish they had CJ Stroud. So it's not all him; it's a team effort. And we know the weakness of the 49ers is they can't rush the passer. You know, and then I'm pretty sure Bryce Huff, who was the guy that's been stepping up, he didn't play today, and I'm just making yeah, he didn't play
Yeah,
today,
we
and
talked. We both talked about
they didn't
this, and I was like,
yeah,
dude, like the
they didn't
biggest thing
they
this Texans struggled with is like they just can't stop pass rush, and the 49ers can't rush the passer. So
that's it, so it's like perfect recipe, you know?
it
That's
was a
that's
perfect
that's all it
recipe
took.
for like an upset game. It really was.
Eh yeah, and then also they were able to run the ball, they took some pressure off, CJ Stroud and that offensive line, you know? I think Woody Marks had a good game, that's the first good game in, what, a couple weeks now? Like, 3 weeks, I believe? So it's good that I think he's got juice. He needs to get more touches as well. I don't know what happened before the bye. They gave a lot of opportunities to Chubb. So I like Woody Marks instead in the backfield. He should be running back 1 for them. But yeah, CJ Stroud played extremely well. You can tell I'm looking at the thing. They're really efficient on third down, 9 for 16. They had over 475 total yards. So they played great. And it's tough because the 49ers are banged up, and I think the big takeaway was they couldn't run the ball. So that came up again, that the 49ers struggled to run today, and they couldn't put up some points. But like we talk about, Texans defense is legit, man. They're awesome. They're awesome, and they can win them games, man. So they're a tough team.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think the Texans are they're gonna be like a team that just kind of plays spoiler. I don't think they're making the play.
Yeah, you
Like
don't
they
want
got
to
a
play
tough
them.
schedule.
Yeah,
Like
like you don't want to
you
see
don't
them late in
want
the
to
year.
play
You
them
know.
because they're a headache on the defensive side of the ball. But if you have a solid defense, you can match up well. Like next week against the Broncos, going to be a battle of defenses. I actually think that's a trap game for the Broncos on the road. I keep saying they're trap games for the Broncos, but I that'll be an interesting matchup because it's two elite defenses going at each other, right?
Wow.
It's going to be a matter of Bo Nix. How can he handle a Texans defense next week? Jaguars in a tough division game. Titans will be a nice win for them. You go Bills and Texans, that'll be interesting. Colts and Texans, Texans Chiefs. Like they have some games in here where it'll get frisky. I don't know if the Texans make the playoffs with their schedule, but they feel like a 8-9, 9-8 team with their elite defense. And if CJ Stroud and this offensive line can finally get in a rhythm, they could surprise some people down the stretch. But we will see what happens. And then the final one, Dan, I feel like it's not fair to talk about it, but the Jets got their first win, man. We got to
Yeah,
talk about that a
yeah.
little bit. I will say this, man. This is why you don't pay two receivers $80 million is because you get this type of defense that shows up out in the field and allows Justin Fields to have an elite day after struggling through the past few weeks. You allow over 200 rushing yards on the ground, right? And you also here's the thing: you let Lou Anarumo walk to Indianapolis, who was scapegoated for their struggles last season. It it just feels like Cincinnati is just caught in this middling set of I don't even know how to describe it. They're going to be stuck in this middle point. It feels like.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, we know like how they want to play. They're able to put up points, but just it's kind of like the Cowboys. Like they don't have a defense; they can't stop anybody. So your offense just has to play perfect each and every game, and it's tough. It's the NFL. You're not going to beat anybody. That's why, like, I really wanted to take the Jets in this game. Just I didn't think like they'd be able to score. And there was a stat that I wanted to bring up because the Jets coming into this game were giving up like 5 sacks or they're giving up, man, how many I gotta look at my notes, but they're giving up a lot of sacks per game. And today
Yeah.
they didn't Cincinnati couldn't sack Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Like
Nope.
the 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 Jets cannot block up front. And Cincinnati couldn't get after him. I mean, it's terrible. There's no way around it. And I know Trey Henderson was out for the second he was out I think the second quarter,
Yeah.
but
So he
that's
left
just
in the middle of the game.
you gotta be able to stack at the quarterback and get off the field, but I think the MVP of this game, it wasn't Justin Fields, he played well, but the MVP was, Breece Lightning, man. Breece
Hey,
Lightning, oh,
his
Breece
trade stock
Lightning.
just went up. His trade stock just went up.
Sell high, that's it. Because what
He
he
really
had 2
listen.
touchdowns.
I don't
He
see
threw a
any
touchdown
reason
too.
why the Jets would keep Brees Hall at this point. To be honest,
No.
like
Yeah, no,
it doesn't make sense. Like you have a guy that's contract's expiring. I understand he's an incredibly talented guy, but you already paid Garrett Wilson, right? You're trying to figure out what you want to do at quarterback. It doesn't make sense to hold on to that when you could potentially secure a third round pick or a second round pick and build a little bit younger in this roster, get some more offensive linemen. Like there'll be teams that are running back needy that'll bid on Brees Hall and try to find a way to get him on their team. So I think like
sell
with the
high.
Jets,
This is it.
here's the interesting part too is like I don't even know if they go back to Justin Fields again. Like I think Tyrod Taylor still might be the guy they go with at
He was
starter,
fun.
and it seemed like it was trending that way, right?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Because like this is what Justin Fields does. He plays really well against a bad team, and when he doesn't face pressure, he actually looks comfortable. But then when he faces a team that pressures him, and you get like 30 yards and
Yeah,
0 points, and it's like watching the worst offense in the in the NFL. So like I
yeah,
think they'll go back to Tyrod Taylor. They have a bye week next week. So it'll be interesting to see. They should get a little healthier. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do at the deadline. Cincinnati, unfortunately, it
oh,
doesn't seem like they're going to be selling at the deadline, though. They're going to hold on to Trey Hendrickson. I just
yeah.
don't understand this. The Bengals are poorly run, and I feel bad for Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, huh?
I feel
Yeah,
bad
it's
for
just
Joe
it's
Burrow.
tough. I didn't know that that would ever come out of your mouth. I gotta record that, clip that. Somebody clip that. Yeah, it's just that's how their team was built, man. It's kind of reminds me of I don't know if you remember, but like the Colts back in the day, they had Peyton Manning and then like Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison. They had an
Yeah,
awesome running back. But the difference with them is they had two great pass rushers. They had Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. The Cincinnati doesn't have that. They have Trey Henderson. They drafted Shamar Stewart. He hasn't like played up the part so far this season. So I think that's what they're kind of do, but it hasn't worked out. So it's tough for them. But here, I found the stat here. The Jets coming into this game didn't have a touchdown in 8 straight quarters. Well, you saw what they did today. The Jets were giving up 5 plus sacks in 3 straight games. No sacks. There was a goose egg today, so just embarrassing. It's another embarrassing loss for Cincinnati.
The
That's
thing
that's
is,
what it
though,
is.
is like Lou Anarumo could have put a better showing on the defensive side of the ball with the talent they have, and they fired him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is what bad organizations do. This is it right here.
SMH. Me and
Can't
Dan
do
need
it,
our own
man.
franchise. We need our own franchise. That's another team. We're gonna be running a team. All right, guys. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to our Week 8 reactions. Drop your hottest take down in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Angle content. And me and Dan will catch you guys next time.